it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have the end of the Saudi medical mission. For the international scene, Cote d'Ivoire receives more than 500,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines. Welcome to our newsroom. Throughout the day of commemoration of the beginning of trade within the framework of the Continental and African Free Trade Zone, appreciative prizes were awarded on Friday, February 26 in the Mandela Hall at the headquarters of the African Union to the health and governments whose country have ratified the agreement on the creations of the Continental and African Free Trade Zone, which will come into forces on January 1st, 2021. The prizes awarded to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gelle, was received on his behalf by the Ambassador of Djibouti in Ethiopia, Mr. Mohammed Idris Farah. The associative network of Randa, RAR, organized on this Friday, February 26, 2021, the first sessions of the work of Mongoda dedicated to ecology and solidarity tourism. To this end, after a minute of silence observed to read the Fatiha, the president of RAR, Mr. Muhammad Ahmed Isa, known as Aboita, explained the purpose of this work and stressed the tourist and environmental aspects of the event. The event was attended by officials from all walks of life, including the President of the National Assembly, Mohamed Ali Mohammed, the Minister of Budget, Abdul Karim Aden Sher, the Secretary of Decentralization, Hamadou Mohamed Aramis, the Ambassador of Djibouti to Germany, Aden Mohamed Dileita, and many officials of national associations such as Good Planet, Get Bear, and other volunteers who came to discover the village of Randa and its tourist wonders. This year, the establishment Kubesh was keen to provide a garbage maid to collect the garbage cans and recycle them afterwards. RAR thanks its sponsors, especially the ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Djibouti, the establishment Kubesh, Wasil, Napoleon, and Kampisky. The associative network of Mount Mabla organized this Friday, February 26, the three sessions of the march under the theme of preservation of peace and environmental protection. This sporting event, which is held every year, has brought together several people from all over the country in the locality of Adbuya in the region of Tajura. We cannot the presence of several members of the government, that is to say, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the Minister of Women and Family, Mumina Ahmed Hassan, from the locality, the Minister of Transport, Mr. Musa Muhammad Ahmed, the President of the Regional Council of Tajura, Mr. Umar Hussein Umar, the Member of Parliament of the region, and other personalities of the country. The three-round sessions of Mount Mabla held in Adbuya was a complete success, considering the extent of mobilization. This biggest event initiated by the associative networks was animated by our great national singer Abzid Ali Dhabli, under the admirations of all the participants. In addition, the participants visit a stand of handicraft made by the women of Mabla in the green landscape to cut the breath. The market gardeners were able to admire several games of product of shooting. In the same vein, the phase of environmental protection was carried out on the same day by the planting of several fruit trees by members of the government. For his part, the Minister of Transport, Musa Muhammad Ahmed, said in his speech, "Thank you for welcoming us here. We slept in Djibouti last night and we participate today in the March of Mabla. And I especially thank to the young people who organized it, such a march. I appreciate the greenery of the landscape and long life to young people of Mabla. For his part, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, said in his speech, "You have come many from Debne, Adbuya, Ribta. Mabla is a great region with a pleasant environment and mild climate and courageous inhabitants. We are here as a leader of this region. We will develop it together to build schools and hospitals, and there is nothing that can cause insecurity. We are here with you." Eagerly awaited by farmers from the 5 regions of the country, the first edition of the regional agro-business show was launched this Friday, February 26, in the esplanade of the Regional Council of Ali Sabih. This event, initiated by the Ali Sabih branch of the Club of Young Entrepreneurs of Djibouti in partnership with the Center for Leadership and Entrepreneurship, enabled 53 producers to display the product of their harvest. The objective pursued by the organizers of this event are multiplied. They are indeed to highlight the agricultural product of our regions, to make exposition and buys, to develop commercial relations with sellers and actors of mass distributions, hotel chains, embassies, foreign forces present on territories. Visitors to the fair were numerous, and exchanges were rich between buyers and producers. Also, the prefect of the region, Musa Adan Migane, member of parliament of the region, Honorable Abdou Sikiye Diriye, Harun Hassan Gedi, the vice president of the regional council of Ali Sabih, Nur Said Geldon, went to the salon to congratulate producers for their efforts, but also to recall the efforts of the government for its agricultural producer and the importance of these types of meeting that will of course need to be renewed. The Embassy of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Djibouti organized Friday a luncheon at the Sheraton Hotel in the honor of the Saudi Medical Missions of the Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center of King Salman. The ceremony was attended by the Minister of Health, Muhammad Warsama Diriye, the Minister of Interior, Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, and the Minister of Higher Education Research, Dr. Nabil Muhammad Ahmed, as well as the Minister of Islamic Affairs, Culture, Mumin Hassan Barry, the ambassador of the custodian of the two holy mosques, Abdul Aziz bin Abdullah Al Madar, the ambassador of Arab and foreign countries in Djibouti, including the dean of the diplomatic corps of the ambassador of the state of Palestine, Mr. Kamal Qazaz, the commanders of the Djiboutian Coast Guard, Colonel Wais Omar Bogore, the resident representative of the United Nations Development Program, Fatima Farouk Al-Sheikh, attend the ceremony. For her part, the resident representative of the United Nations Development Programs in Djibouti, Fatima Al-Sheikh Farouk, spoke briefly about the humanitarian aid and the role of the King Salman Center.
If I may talk a little bit about the footprints of the King Salman Center in terms of the humanitarian aid. King Salman Center has been one of the largest contributors out of the GDP target from Saudi Arabia. If you look at the amount of funding that Saudi actually avails out of GDP contributions to the global humanitarian affairs, is around 1.9% of the GDP of Saudi Arabia. And for the record, that's a very large volume of funding that goes. If you compare it to the average official development aid assistance, which is 7% globally, Saudi Arabia is actually doubling the number of aid. And it's a good incentive for other fellow countries from the Arab regions to follow the same trend of reaching similar target. I'm sure that would be a good and inspiring target. During the current period of His Excellency Khadim Al-Haramain Al-Sharifain patronaging to the center, the humanitarian affair of Saudi Arabia has witnessed a different evolution.
For his part, the Minister of Islamic Affairs Cultures welcomed in his speech the leading role played by the Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center of King Salman since its establishment almost 5 years ago. He stressed that the voluntary medical campaign of specialized surgery carried out by this center in Djibouti reflect the good fraternal relations and the consolidate links existing between Djibouti and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. For his part, the Minister of Health recalled in his speech that the Saudi medical mission was able to cover more than 300 patients with urinary genital malformations, 99 of whom were operated on in the Peltier General Hospital. The Salman Center, which was able to deploy a team for the medical caravan in view of the situations of COVID-19 in the world and in Djibouti, said Minister Mohamed Warsama Diri. On Thursday, February 25, the association's Ajad proceeded to a ceremony of distribution of sports equipment for the benefit of 17 men's team and one women's team. The president of the Regional Council of Dekhel, Abdurrahman Yunus Are, the prefect of the region, Adan Darar Musa, the colonel of the Riyadh, Idris Umar Aliye, the head of the police detachment, the brigade commanders of the gendarmerie, as well as local elected officials, the head of the different teams benefiting from this equipment, as well as all representatives of civil society structure took part in this event. On the sidelines of the ceremony for the handing over of the sport equipment to the use of Okar, the prefect, the president of the regional council, and the president of the associations of young people of Dekhel, Mr. Muhammad Ibrahim Awale, took the floor in turns for each part. The prefect of the region stressed the importance of this ceremony of distribution of sport equipment for the benefit of the Okar youth to enhance the practice of this flagship sport. In the night of 17 February, a robbery took place at the Wolf's store in the locality of Mulud in Dekhel region. This act of banditry was committed by young criminal bandits natives of Mulud locality. The latter stole more than 500,000 Djibouti franc after having broken into the solar window of the store. The investigators of the police detachment were immediately dispatched to the places, and of the investigation is carried out by the police and on the spot led to the arrestations of the perpetrators of the act completed originating from this locality, and thus according to the investigations the money was found by the police elements. Individuals involved in this case are currently on notice at Dekhel police barracks and will be translated and presented to the prosecutor's office. A page of the obituary now. Ismail Balaye Rage has reached in his final heavenly resting place. Born in 1940, he was a state clerk from in 1958 to in 1973. He was an executive of the oil company Shell from in 1973 to in 1976. He was Minister of Trade and Development and finally became a trader in 1977. He decided leaves behind him 8 children and 34 grandchildren and their mother. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. For the international scene, Cote d'Ivoire received on Friday 504,000 doses of vaccines against COVID-19, the first to arrive in the West African country financed by the COVAX devices intended in particular for disadvantaged countries, delayed from the skill from time and local time. These doses of AstraZeneca Oxford vaccines arrived in Abidjan International Airport on board an Emirates plane chartered by the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF, along with neighboring Ghana, which received 600,000 doses on Wednesday. Cote d'Ivoire is one of the first countries to benefit from COVAX-funded vaccines aimed at providing 20% of the populations of nearly 200 participating countries and territories with COVAX vaccines this year. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.